Hello and welcome back to Redneck Engineering 101. Once again, we're playing with a Jacob's Ladder. Found to throw some sparks. I have made an upgrade. This is now copper, pure copper. Salvaged this out of some pieces of Romex that I had laying around. The reason I want to go pure copper is coat hanger is varnished. Varnish is used as an insulation in electric motors. They put it on coat hangers so the coat hangers don't rust and put rust stains on your clothes. On my previous Jacob's Ladder, I had taken and sanded the inside to get a better spark going. However, we've all seen the sparks, so now let's move on to something a little different. What kind of fun can you have with a Jacob's Ladder? And for the first part, let's see what the Jacob's Ladder will do. If you notice, there's a very small spark in the Jacob's Ladder. We can get that spark walking a little bit. Always looks pretty. But that's not good enough. I want more than a pretty spark. I want to see fire. I want to see explosions. I want to see something happening here. I mean, that's the whole reason you're watching YouTube, right? You want to see what happens. Well, let's just see what happens. Here we are with our Jacob's Ladder. And as you can see, we have a nice, pretty spark going. We can play in the spark. Here's a screwdriver. What can you do with a screwdriver in a Jacob's Ladder? Well, we can make a few little arcs. Gee, that's not impressive, is it? But what about this? Yes. Let's see what we can do with a fluorescent tube and a Jacob's Ladder. Can we get anything going here? There we go. That's what I wanted to show you. Yes, you can light up a fluorescent tube with a Jacob's Ladder. If you notice, you see we just with a little bit of spark, we're getting a little bit of fluorescing of the neon gas within the tube. And that's just touching off on one part. Now if we can get it to touch off on both sides, as you see, we can get the whole thing going in a nice Frankenstein fashion. Yeah, we're cooking with electricity now, boys and girls. And yeah, I'm holding it with my hand. Why? Because I'm a crazy white boy. And I'm not scared of this until it bites me. And hopefully that won't happen anytime soon. But yes, you can have fun with a fluorescent tube. As you see. Woohoo! And we can also have fun with making sparks fly around. Nothing like a few sparks flying around the old shop. Alright, for our next session, what do we have here? I have bent the wire and clipped, using the wire, an old CD, AOL, CD of the Month Club 9.0. You're not going to see these around anymore. But what would happen if you hooked a Jacob's ladder up to a CD? Well, I'll tell you what. Let me turn off the lights and let. Alrighty, boys and girls. One CD, one Jacob's ladder. What's going to happen? How long will it go before she decides it's time to blow? That's it. So the question is, what happened? Why did it stop? I mean, it's doing so pretty, right? If we take a look, you'll see these big scorch marks. That's where it burnt the foil. Once it burned enough foil that it could not arc from the contact to the foil, it gave up. Too much resistance. However, we could still have some more fun with this, I'm sure. Alrighty, here is our trusty CD. You know, it's looping to the shortest route before it finally burns up so much that it can find no route it can bridge. Be aware there's a little bit of smoke. Plastic smoke, probably chock full of carcinogens, but hey, I smoke anyway. Right? Right. And as you can see, it doesn't do the CD a whole lot of good. However, it is one way of removing data from a CD-ROM, permanently removing the data. Got any secrets to hide? Jacob's ladder is your friend. Well, what else can we do with a Jacob's ladder? Tell you what, why don't we stick some steel wool? Always fun to play with. And it makes a nice stinky smell too. Frankenstein, watch out. Right, right. And this is one way of reducing steel wool down to a bit of nothing. So what will happen if we put some more steel wool? A big old clump. Can you say arc weld? Extreme? Yow, ow, ow! Yes, it bit me a little. And needless to say, hot. Well, you might ask, or you may have never even considered it, what happens when you add water and electricity? The fact is, 100% pure water is an insulator. Add a little touch of salt or any contaminant and you now have a conductor. This is some tap water. Looks like it might have a little algae floating in it. I'm going to wet our steel wool here. Should make it conduct better while cooling it down at the same time. Shall we see what happens? As you notice, nothing. No sparks. Why is that? I'll tell you why. That steel wool is making such a good conductor that no sparks can form. And as long as that water hangs in there, it'll hang in there. As soon as the water's dried out, it's bursting into flames. We ain't gonna stick around that long. Anyway, those are just a few of the things you can do with a Jacob's ladder. You can torture small children, dogs, grown-ups if you so inclined. I don't recommend it. If you ever forget and leave it plugged in and grab one of these, you'll know it. But other than just throwing big-ass sparks, that's about all they're good for.